bit of a proper warm-up technique for youth baseball players, especially. As I mentioned in my posts and some of the studies have alluded to, a lot of times elbow injuries happen, particularly within the ulnar collateral ligament that causes Tommy John surgery. That happens with too fast or improper preparation for the hip, because it affects the whole kinetic chain, right? Think about it. When you're winding up for a pitch, your knees drop high up, and then you take a step, and you're lunging your hips and twisting forward, right? So you got to prepare for those high velocity type movements. So that way it makes doing this a lot easier. So to break it down, here are some few dynamic warm-ups that you should give to your athletes before they endure a rigorous training session, or even before they warm up for practice or games. Remember, 400 pitches or above for an entire season. It's a lot to take in. So, first thing that we usually do is we kind of start at a semi-nice slow pace, and then we kind of we'll work our way up. So, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to place our cap here. Now you're probably thinking, wait a minute, why are we doing in cap stretches when we're working with the hip? Because it's all part of the kinetic chain. Ankle, calf, knee, quad, hip, it all adds up. Because what you're going to do is you're going to take a bend here, take a scoop, step forward, scoop. Now, if you do it in a wide tilt area like this, you'll be able to keep track of it a little bit better. Just 2 revolutions of 30 total, 15 bilaterally. That should do the trick. Then I usually do this before every MMA workout, and I see a lot of soccer players, NFL players, typically do this because a lot of times, even for me, my hip can sometimes, twinge a little bit, and it can feel out of place. So every time, I'll take a small step and then reach forward, small step, reach out, abduct that hip, bring it out wide, stretch out the the groin like the like the gracilis, the sartorius. Anything that attaches is to the hip, to the knee, that makes it do this, because your knee flexors and extensors do the opposite function with your hips as well. And also, even something a little bit more dynamic, some walking lunges, same as all the others. 2 revolutions of 30, and then finally we're gonna throw in some high knees, back and forth for about 30-second intervals, and some butt kickers. We're gonna knock the glutes back for about 30-second intervals as well. 2 rotations of each. And that's just an example. There's plenty of other good exercises that could help out with this. But no matter what, the key is not only to get the athlete's heart rate going, but to make sure that there's a lot of plasticity in the hip flexor muscles. Now, focusing more on the elbow, there's not that much of a dynamic stretch that can prevent that, because your elbow's a hinge joint. It's a third-class lever, right? So the best way to do that is readdress the kinetic chain. What gets abused first? It's actually the opposite, in the opposite direction. So it goes from ankles, knees, hip, and can radiate actually up to the shoulders. A lot of other studies have shown, and I think I've alluded to this in the past with this particular post, even in some past courses as well, that there's a lot of glenohumeral activity every time you pitch. Just think about it. Your arm's going back, you're abducting your shoulder out wide, and then you're driving it forward, adducting it, flinging your elbow. Do it too fast, it could cause it to go out of place. So, some arm circles, as wide as you can, as long as you can, not too fast. Remember, we're just adding elasticity into it, getting everything warmed up, ready to go. So we can do 30 seconds forward, 30 seconds backward, 2 revolutions if necessary. So that's basically kind of the standard warm-up procedure that I would normally do for a baseball athlete. Remember, think about the kinetic chain, think about adding elasticity and flexibility before you dive into any type of velocity-based activity.